Hi again. Welcome back. This time we're going to talk about my least favorite theme. And it's my least favorite theme for the course because I think the College Board is trying to cram way too much into it. So the second theme is looking at the development and interaction of cultures. And that's supposed to incorporate philosophy, religion, science and technology, and arts and architecture and ideological systems. Too much. So we're going to talk about just the religious development in this one, and I'll do another one for covering the other parts next. So, basic progression of religion. Pretty straightforward stuff. We generally see human beings begin as polytheistic, nature-based animists. All right? Lots of gods, all for nature, all connected to different natural phenomenon, trying to explain what's going on. We do see the development of codes of behavioral conduct. We see plenty of times where humans try to get other humans to behave in different ways and try to change the way they're behaving because it's socially unacceptable. These two generally combine, and then we see a split occur. We'll see a deity-specific worship. All right, so monotheism shows up. We will see the attempt to focus our attentions on our behaviors to pleasing a specific group of or individual deity. Or we see a movement toward a philosophical outlook. My code of conduct is about my personal development. I need to be a better person, so I'm going to follow this philosophy to try to get there. Regardless of which split occurs, we see things come back. They are both going to be text-based. We need to read these books, read these documents, or have them read to us and interpreted for us. But the text plays a big role. They're going to be prescriptive. They're going to tell you how to act in certain circumstances and what rituals to follow and all that sort of stuff. There is a sense of judgment. You are not doing this right, and so you will be judged either by the community now, by the religious leaders now, or ultimately by the deity that is going to control your final fate. And they're almost all communal. They're all meant to be done as a group, with people together in some sort of sense of community. The exception to that is the obvious one, and that would be Taoism, where everybody does their own thing all the time. Most of these, regardless of that split, most of these are going to focus on being a good person. We can have some interesting conversations, and have had interesting conversations, about are people fundamentally good, or they need to be made good. And different philosophical outlooks and religious outlooks go in different directions to say, yes, you're good, we need to shed light on your inner goodness, or no, you're bad, and we need to change your behavior. That's my basic assumption about all of you, by the way, is that you're all bad. Focus on attaining a better life now. What can I do in my day to make my world a better place as I exist in it? That becomes less the norm, and it becomes much more about attaining a better life later. Either the next time around when I get reincarnated and my soul moves back through, or in the afterlife. After I depart this physical existence, I will have a better existence later. That depends. We see not really an even split here. The afterlife takes much more precedence than the idea of reincarnation. Regardless, the notion of the soul and the salvation of that soul is a game changer. When that comes about and we see that start to spread, really the philosophical outlooks begin to dwindle and we start to see the deity-specific worship, because I need to be concerned about my soul and the afterlife much more so than anything else. It becomes hugely popular. It is a massive hook for drawing the masses of people into religious faith to start talking about the soul. So that is a very important development. You want to make sure you can find where that happens in each of the societies we study. Finally, the religion it does not exist in a bubble. The religion has social and political ramifications. The social ramifications: what class do you belong to? What duties do you follow as a member of that class? Who is more important than you and why? And so we see that sort of ripple in the structures of class, most notably in India with the caste system, but elsewhere as well. And the political ramifications. We start to see political leaders grab a hold of religious doctrine, behavioral conduct codes, and start to try and modify people's behavior appropriately using religion as that excuse. We will also see leaders use religion as a source of validity and saying, God wants me to do X, Y, and Z, and therefore that's why I do it. Or God has told me to be in charge, and the rest of you need to sit down, shut up, and pay attention to me, or God will be angry. So again, your task is going to be to go through the different regions, find examples of these progressions, figure out where the soul comes into play, how does it structure the social structures, how does it structure the political structures, and then what happens when we see different religions and different belief systems collide. How do they interact with each other? Do they become syncretic? Do they become diametrically opposed? do we see get along or do we see go away? That is the kind of fundamental thing that underpins all of this, is once these religions start playing together, then what happens to them and how do they change?